of the 42 ideals of Ma'at. My mother is nature. My father is time. I am a Neski queen.
Okay, Baltimore, we are back for another episode of Be More Mindful podcast, you guys. It's July 25th. This is episode 20, and I am your host, Aneski Anna Kimset. Aneski literally means she belongs to me. So for the next hour or so, I thank you for welcoming me into your time, space, home, however you stream, however you getting this. I appreciate you. So tonight, we have a special guest with us. This is a really good friend of mine. Very talented, so talented in so many ways. We're going to jump right into it, you guys. And for those of you who are joining for the first time, we have just a simple etiquette here. Four little letters that we abide by when we're having this show, and it's scrolling across the bottom of the screen. So if you can check in with that, then you'll be able to have a great conversation with us. And from there, I'm going to introduce our guest, who is FUNMI SODIPO. Did I say that right?
Yeah. It's the American Sodipo. The Nigerian version is Shotipo.
See? So yes. So when we tell, I was trying to start to tell them all that you do, but I'm gonna miss something. I know I am. So I'm gonna let you give them a rundown of what you do, and then let Baltimore know how what you do help you cope with any mental or social challenges that come up in your life.
Ooh, what do I do? What don't I do? Right?
Question.
That's the question. Well, I am a teacher, engineering teacher, a life teacher. I work at Carver Vocational High, but I also do some nursing work. I do the CNA, the GNA, the patient care technician, the certified med tech. I do that. I'm a notary. I crochet.
Yeah.
I, I'm an actress. I write poetry. I do so many different things. So I do taxes, 18 years. All of this stuff I do is active. Today, I just became a CPR instructor. So, yeah, I'm an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
I'm an entrepreneur. I do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Yeah, but I'm all about helping people, body sculpting. You got some fat? You want to melt it? Did you want to melt? What?
Yeah.
You want to lift that booty? Oh, you want to lift the breast back up? They touching what? I got you. Yeah. So it goes on and on. Reiki master. What I do is I get certified in something every year. Every year I go to school for something. I'm big on learning. So, yeah.
And so does that how does that help you cope? I'm pretty sure you come up against, quite a few challenges growing up, well being I'm not gonna say growing up, but being in Baltimore. How does doing those things help you cope, or do they help you cope?
Well, I realized doing all of these things, people tell me I do too much. They say you do too much for me. I said, well, I don't do it for you. I do it for me.
Right?
For me. Okay, I do it for me. So not for you. You're not doing enough. That is a problem that I have had a lot with people telling me that I'm doing too much and it doesn't affect their life. But what the positive impacts it has for me is that I like seeing people happy. The way people come to me and tell me how I made them feel, I love that. And just me doing all of these things keeps me busy. It keeps my mind off of my lupus.
Mm-hmm.
It keeps my mind off of those type of struggles that I have with my health, and then my family, that has their health issues. And, crocheting, it keeps my hands busy, so I'll smack, and you got, keep me busy.
Right.
So, but it definitely keeps me at a space of peace.
Mm-hmm.
And I need that, especially living in
I
Baltimore.
love that. I love it. I could just feel it. I definitely get what you're saying. I just wanted not to cut you off, but identify with that because I get that a lot too. A lot of people say, you're always doing too much, you're always doing something. And I tell them the truth be told, for me, that's how I stay what I consider to stay out of trouble because, with my history and some of the decisions, which falling right in line with this topic for today, but some of the choices I was making, I realized I was making them out of being idle minded. And so I learned to try to keep myself in as many positive, productive actions as possible to allow my mind to not fall into an idle state where it would be easier to make a silly or neglectful or bad choice because I'm not giving thought to nothing productive. So I totally identify with the being busy and wearing the many hats. um I I really want to touch base with. I love the fact more than anything the certification every year. I want to know. I just want to know, like, does that give you a sense of renewing? Renewing your mind, as far as education wise, going instead of just going. We always talk about going to the next step, so we tend to think college and degrees and masters. But you seem to have took learning to a different through a different perspective or alternative perspective. So I want to hear more about that because I think that's something that our culture really needs to understand that there's more to higher education or better education than college.
Right. You can do continuing education, you
Yeah.
know. And see, I already have 2 degrees. I have an associate's in electronic computer telecommunication technology, and
Hmm.
I have a bachelor's in girl, in electronic engineering.
Wow.
That's how I got the job at the school. But um, I had that degree for so long and couldn't find a job for so long with this. And I'm like, I did all of this schooling for what? Who's going to give me a shot? They see my name, they think I'm a man. They see my name, they like, oh, it's an African, or it's a scam, or
Mm.
I just get. Then I started using my middle name. You
Mm.
know,
Okay.
I got a better response. But um, as far as the certifications, I realized that when things are in high demand, go get that certification. Like I'm a home inspector. I went to home inspecting school. And I was
Wow.
just like, realtor, or home inspection. Who get paid first? The home inspector get paid first. Okay, yeah, and you get paid faster. That's how my mind thinks. Like,
Hmm.
how to get it quicker, faster. Um, so certifications, eyelash technician, body sculpting, teeth whitening, just the list goes on. Like I say, the home inspection, patient care tech, it's all continuing education. And the reason I get certain type of certifications is to not just to have them, but
Hmm.
to utilize it for my life.
Mm.
Now I can smell the mold. No, 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 no. Oh, no, the foundation is cracked. We can't do no. I see
Right.
it. You can't tell me nothing because
Right.
I done educated myself.
Right.
So
Right.
I'm very self-sufficient. I don't like asking anyone for anything or to do anything for me. So I'll go out and learn. Like I'm actually about to go to CDL school as
Wow.
well because I
That's
want that license. I have a
good.
bucket list of things
Right.
that I want to do and accomplish, and I'm doing it, regardless if it's too much for whoever. I'm doing it. But yeah, you don't have to get a degree all the time to be
Mhm.
successful. It's all about planting the seeds for yourself, and that's
Mm.
what I do. I plant seeds in different places. If I don't want to go to work today, I ain't gotta go to work.
Right. Right, right. And the opportunities are there. I think that's something that's another thing that and I get on my soapbox. It's my show. I can do that. It's on my network. I can do that. I get on my soapbox when we get to talking about the education in America, the system. Okay, and because my thing is giving birth to 7 children and watching each of my oldest three go through eight what 12 14 years of this learning system is still going to life and need so much to be guided through actual obstacles or challenges that they spent 12, 14 years not even speaking on. And so I'm so grateful, you know. I'm grateful every podcast I have a guest on. I feel like it's so divine, you know, the information that is shared in the conversation, because Baltimore, we are limited in our mindset because we lack knowledge. Now here we have knowledge of this, so that's an array of different tools that you can use to take care of yourself, not just financially, but also as far as your home care, your health care, health wise. Like she said, she can walk into a home and recognize things that could be detrimental to her living for her and her family because she has been educated in that field. And a lot of times, especially being a female, we end up in situations because we lack knowledge and we become dependent on men, most likely a male figure, especially when it comes to cars, or dependent on the government. You know, and that codependency is one of the things that again becomes a barrier for us in life. So,
Yes.
I mean, what would you say, Ben? Back me up on it. I know you. I know you.
Absolutely. I'm with you. Listen, we got to do what we got to do,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know. But again, just not wanting to rely on anyone for anything. I educate myself.
Hmm.
I push hard. And then, I'm a Sagittarius. You know how Sagittarius is.
Yeah,
The
yes,
simple third, we
yes,
philosophers,
yes.
we're educators, we're
Yep,
teachers. We love to learn,
yep.
you know, and we love to teach,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that right there is just like is inevitable.
Mm-hmm. That's what it says. That's the it's going just going for it. Oh man, see, when you look, I can talk to you for hours about what you do because you're so amazing to me. You're such an inspiration and mostly
Yeah.
for the most part my motivation. I mean, especially when I was like learning how to crochet and you was like, no, we want take it out and do it again till you get whoop, whoop, whoop. I mean, it was just like having obedience and discipline, you know, was
With
is
love.
with love. And I mean, that's something that I think we need to not make be a problem in our culture. Discipline and obedience should be welcome. Believe it or not, we psych ourselves out and think we don't want it, but let's live in chaos. That's the first thing we're looking for is order. You know, so I don't run away from learning nothing. I feel like sometimes being chastised to get to the next level is that's what needs to happen. Because you cracked that whip. You cracked that. It was a crochet hook, but you cracked it.
People when I have my classes, they say I'm a tough teacher. I'm a good tough teacher. Because
Mm.
it's like, one girl, she texted me the other day. She was like, "No, you too tough for me. I thought you was gonna hit me with the ruler." She's like, "But I need to be hit with the ruler, though. I do. I'm not
Yeah,
listening."
see, that's someone that's going to
Oh,
grow. That's someone that
right.
young lady's going to definitely grow. So yeah. So, Bardo, we're gonna wrap up. That wraps up our introduction for the show. I hope everyone that's joining is enjoying themselves. And if anyone is missing it, please watch the playback. Go to the playback. I promise you, you're going to get something out of it. We're going to ready to take it to our next segment, which is basically the show topic. And for those of you who are familiar with the show, know that I'll post a flyer about a week before. And on the flyer, it tells you the date, our guest, it tells you the topic, and there's always a quote. And so for episode 20, uh, I found a quote um, by Nelson Mandela, which really resonated with me. Being that the topic was choices we make part two, and Nelson Mandela says, "May your choices reflect your hopes, not your fears." Right? One more time, it says, "Not may your choices reflect your hopes, not your fears." And so, one of the reasons why it resonated with me, especially after part one, my guest, who's known on Instagram is Mr. All or Nothing, the mayor of Park Heights. This young man shared his journey through his teenage years to his now, young adult years, and he shared the choices that he had made that put him in a position to have to make better choices, and the better choices he made end up being extraordinary and changing not just his own life, but those of around him. And when I seen that quote by Nelson Mandela, it just made me think that how the ability for one to um, go from making the choices he was making at the age that he was making them and that landed him, and his story is out there. You need to check it out. He was incarcerated as a teen, going to young adult for a serious crime. To go from making a choice of that to making a choice that going into a system and changing the the things that were going on there to inspire others to do others, and then to come from that and come back to being a civilian in the street and to making even more choices and doing even more for the community. It made me think like, wow, he went from making choices, and if you listen to his story, he'll tell you
I
the choices
watched
he
it.
was making were out of fear at first to making choices that were of hope, and I'm getting goosebumps now. I mean, as a parent, right? My oldest three took me through a very serious lesson about parenting from the standpoint of fear.
Mm.
Whereas I was all the time parenting like, big hearted. I'm like, oh, I just don't want you to be like me. Oh, I just don't want you to do this. Oh, I just don't want you to, and I just don't, and I don't, and I don't, and I don't. And so I end up going to a
Mm.
parenting class through my son's school for some resources to help try to keep my family, on track. And one of the things that one of the volunteers that said, she said, well, part of it, she's your parenting out of fear. The things you're saying and doing is in fear of something that is really in the figment of our mind. She said, number one, you're talking about choices that you made as a young lady under certain circumstances, and these are young men under different circumstances. She says that alone, kind of puts a little, dent in your dynamic of how you're parenting, what you're parenting out of. And
Mhm.
she just let me know like life is going to come with the same challenges for every generation. When it comes to parenting, let's parent with a positive aspect and hope of that they will do better because you do know better, and because nine times out of ten every child grows up to be an adult and says, I'm going to parent different than my parent, which means that, for the most part, it could be a better environment, or let's say, But the whole point is, again, getting back to the quote, it's just like a lot of choices we make. Are we being mindful of the motive behind the choice? Are we making choices out of fear, or are we making choices out of hope? I mean, what do you think when it comes to your choice making? Is that something that comes to mind for you?
Honestly, that reminds me of my dad. He used to do that to me.
Mm,
I want you to be like your mom. I see traits. I did this. Da da da. Like, I'm not her. Like, we have the same DNA, but I'm still me. Like, I
mhm,
might have more of your DNA than her. I
mhm,
have more of your characteristics. But and I am also guilty. I felt myself doing that. Like, I don't want you to be like such and such. Or I don't want you to be like me. Just because I understand that DNA, sometimes the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. That's what it
mhm,
is. But once you realize it's levels to it too. It's all about how you break it down and explain it to your child.
right,
Like, look, not saying you're gonna do this.
right,
I did this, and
hmm,
you're my child. We got the same thing running through us.
right,
Let me tell you about my experiences.
right,
I can so they can live and learn through that.
right,
You
right,
know. So, but the phrase, you know, may your choices reflect your hopes
hmm,
and not your fears. Um, that is saying that you should be guided more by optimism
hmm,
and hope for positive outcomes rather than the negative outcomes. Because when you do things in fear, you can start to unknowingly manipulate the child's mind to make them think that they may not be good enough, or to make them they'll continue to love you, but they might not love themselves.
Right. Right.
Because you don't understand that the power of the word, can really affect the young mindset. So, yeah, optimism over fear for sure. Because the fear just represents anxieties and doubts and,
Yes. Yes.
and
Yes.
then worrying all the time. And it comes from past failures and honestly, lack of confidence.
Yes.
And, you just got to talk to your kids, yourself, loved ones about that, it'll just change all of
You just really, you threw some things out there. You definitely, I mean, even like you say, confidence when you're making certain choices, you got to be confident in your choice and why you're making that choice, especially if it's one that's for the better yourself. I think that's something as a culture we do. Sometimes we get shunned away from making optimistic choices because we get caught up with we got to have the persona. We're from the hood and the struggle and the get it out the mud and the,
yeah.
rose in the concrete. And so because that becomes, the mindset, the choices we make is just that out of fear of,
Yeah.
Always being oppressed or always being poor. I speak on it all the time. Where oh my gosh,
But like you say, decision making. Like, so when you make a decision based on hope, you're more likely to take a risk. You're more likely to pursue new opportunities and strive for growth when you have that mindset. And that approach is going to be more positive, and
Right.
you're going to focus on achieving the best possible outcome you possibly can come up with. You know what I'm saying? So, but when you make that choice based on the fear, you're most likely to avoid the risk rather than taking the risk. And then you miss the opportunity instead of getting the opportunity.
Yes.
Then you settle for less.
Yeah. I totally agree.
Yeah.
I mean, think about how many people are in toxic relationships because the fear that they may end up being alone, versus taking, the risk of actually getting out and finding themselves and finding out why, they are, accept behavior or create behavior that is toxic. I think self-awareness is very important, very, needed when it comes time to making choices.
Yeah, most people need to understand too that the universe, God, whoever you look at in that higher power, he strengthens by subtracting the nonsense out of your life.
That's right.
He strengthens by subtraction. Okay.
Yes. I actually, and this is the irony of that is there was this real with KRS-One on floating around and either TikTok or Instagram, and he basically was saying like, your value isn't measured by how much you have, but it's measured by what you do with how less you have, like your ability to survive with nothing. When you make something out of nothing, he was like, that's how you measure your value, not by how much you have at all. And I was like, did he not say something? That boy, he just put a little word out there. So yeah,
that's what I'm about setting your seeds, planting your seeds to like I feel like I've become my own genie. Or my own angel or whatever you want to call it, where I feel like I'm a creator. I know I'm a creator. I create everything that I have in my life and around me, down to my jars, my clothes, everything has been a decision. And it's because I planted the seed to get everything that I have, and to have that flexibility. Most people are stuck in situations, for instance, 9 to 5 or whatever it may be, they feel stuck. Me, I'm just like, well, I'm gonna make a decision I don't want to do 8, I'm gonna do 5 hours. I don't want to get up today. Like, I just created like, okay, you want me to work for you? All right, well, how about, since you want me, I'm going to give you this much.
Right. I want to.
You want it or you don't want it?
Yeah.
And then once I get it, now it's just like I got all these different opportunities, all these, people like, how do you, like, I created it. I planted the seed, and so I'll go and I'll water it too. I'll go and water it once a week. I'll water
Yeah.
it, you
Yeah.
know?
That's the
And they're
manifestation.
wondering how it's growing because
Yes.
I attend to it.
Yes.
I don't have to give it all of me. I don't put all my eggs in one basket.
That's right. Right. Yeah. Oh, I get it. Yeah.
It's like crocheting, girl. Be a
Yeah.
string, and then there's a whole damn bikini. There's a whole damn bikini. Like what?
Just like that. Just like that. So listen, that was fun. That was nice fun. And yet, again, that was an awesome quote. Let your choices reflect your hopes and not your fears. From the great Nelson Mandela, I felt like that was just very pertinent, especially, growing up in Baltimore, man, making choices is tough. Growing up, it's already growing up black, growing up in Baltimore, growing up, I want to say in I don't want to say poor or broken, you know what I mean? Because I feel like a family full of love is as wealthy as a family, that has $1 million. I feel like love way outweighs any of them. But growing in coming up in the conditions that we come up in, we could just really put an emphasis from generation to generation of how important it is for us to understand the cause and effect of the choices that we make. And I really feel like that's, a very important topic right now, especially, I mean, I put this phone open and Be More News, and everybody got so many. If it's not about they looking for this person for murder, it's this person that got shot, and this person that got killed, ran over, and it's just like, it's not enough good choice making going on for me. I feel like we just need to be honest with them and say, look, hey, start telling somebody like, hey, somebody, you need to start making some better choices, because it's getting bleak. Nobody wants to walk outside and lose their life aimlessly because someone's making a bad choice,
Correct.
So,
Right.
yeah, that's
all of their emotions, which is another problem I see. They just are not in control of their actions or emotions, and they're scared. And a lot of the scared people are out here killing because they're scared.
Making a choice out of fear.
But we need more empowerment. If we get a little bit more empowerment, then we'll be making choices based on empowerment. And it's going to help other people around you feel empowered, want to be empowered.
Right.
It creates a better environment for aspirations.
Yeah. Yes, I do know, and I believe it can happen. But that's going to definitely wrap up our topic subject segment. And we're going to keep it rolling because I'm telling you, this is something that I feel like we can talk about forever. But I just want to make sure I touch on the different angles and different points because I want Baltimore to really take this serious. I only have 4 more episodes left in the season, and then it'll be the season finale. And so, this topic is something that I really definitely want families to be on. Play back both episodes. Play back. If you're not watching now, please play back. Show someone so that way we can start making each other aware. We can start being more mindful. We can start, empowering each other. It's a unity thing. We got to do it together.
Yes.
So, we get ready to go into the next part of my show, which I like to call Experts versus Experiences. And as you all know, I'm transparent. I let it be known. I am not an expert. I do not do this show because I am trying to give professional advice. This is just a conversation. It's just to make people aware of certain topics and dealing with mental health and social disorder. Just giving us a platform to have a voice and talk about it. So for experts versus experiences, what I do is read a portion of an article from these experts, whoever have PhDs and all these other little letters behind it. They're much like me. Accolades, but we're going to talk about what they have to say and see if they really, if do they have these letters behind their name for a reason? Do they know what they're talking about? Or, based on our life experiences, do we think that these guys could possibly have it wrong? So the article I read today comes from Forbes magazine, and I love when Forbes has an article that dealing with social health or mental health. I feel like it's very important for it to be a magazine based on business and finances. Pay attention; it's important because mental health plays a part in your finances and how you choose to spend your money and the things that you do. So Forbes recognizes that, and therefore every now and again they'll put up an article on some mental health stuff. The article I'm reading is titled, the portion of the article I'm reading is called "A Psychologist Explains Why You Should Seriously Reconsider City Living." And it was contributed by Mark Travers. The article was posted April the 22nd, 2024 on their online website. And so I read the article and it breaks it down. It talks about the social risk, it talks about the physical risk, and it talks about why, it gives you a reason why you should avoid, these things. And I found the article very, very interesting because it said why you should avoid living in a city. And I was like, what are the people who are born there? Like, who choice is that? But anyway, I found it interesting. And so I'm just going to read a portion of the social risk that they talk about in their 2017 study. So in their study, they discovered the social risks of city living include concentrations of low socioeconomic status, low social capital, and higher social segregation. In essence, living in or around deprived or segregated neighborhoods is associated with lower mental health. This association is attributed to the effects of first or secondhand exposure to poverty, the adverse conditions of neighborhoods, and a lack of social support. Cities have also historically been characterized by residential ethnic segregation, sadly persisting even to today, which is associated with a greater risk of depression and anxiety. And so, I mean, I just was like, true, true. And I called on to the part where it said first or second hand exposure to poverty. And I got the consequence say first or second hand, and I'm like first or second hand, I compared it to smoke. Like first hand is direct, second hand is when you blow it out. And it was like, so I'm feeling like so the second hand poverty would be that group that I'm thinking of, when I say, well, what if you don't have that, get to make the choice of living in the city? And so, it just had me really thinking like, they know this and they know that urban living have these things that are going on. And it's almost to me, for me, it's like, I was just wondering like how do we fix that? How do we change that? Is it something that we're going to always have to deal with because it is the government, or can we bring so much awareness that we take away some of the things that are causing the depression and anxiety? Because I can pretty much guarantee that is one of the main reasons why we make the choices that we make in the city, and that's why we're known. Baltimore itself is known for more negative than good. So I mean, what do you think, Fumi? I mean, they know that the city has these things that lack certain things and are low in certain things that cause anxiety and depression. As a culture, do we just sit with this?
We shouldn't sit with it. Um, it's like social risk of living in the city. Huh. That's how I would classify that.
Right.
Um, the economy, economic diversity and disparities. The city has a lot of poverty. Like for instance, down in Latrobe, for instance, I was there for a little bit. Everybody knew I didn't fit in. I'm not gonna lie. I use it as an opportunity,
Mm-hmm.
and it's kind of true. There's a lot of true, but not always true
Mm-hmm.
because the people that are there, a lot of them suffer from lead paint.
Yeah.
They get a check.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know what to do with the money.
Mm-hmm.
They do nothing with the money. They waste it. That comes back to the decision making because of
Mm-hmm.
your environment, because of your mental state, because of what you've been through, you know. And they know you're not gonna do nothing with that money.
Right.
You're gonna be right back there, depending on them again.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people that I've had, situations with down there, they're not that bright. Sad to say, they're not. They don't want to go to work.
Mm-hmm.
They'll see a few going to school, going to work every day. It seemed like soon as midnight hit, that's when it's time to become a DJ and turn on the music. Like, y'all ain't gotta go. Your kids outside. Like, what's going on? It's 2 o'clock in the morning. Go to bed. It's snow outside. What are you doing? So it's just like, it's very sad. The city, the government, they want you to rely on them. The people, they don't want nothing. They're used to what they used to. They don't have to go to work and pay no bills.
Right.
It's just disgusting.
Right.
It is. So when they see me, how you doing this? You ain't never home. Yeah, I gotta go to work or I'm on vacation.
Right.
I'm stacking my paper. What are you doing?
Right.
I came and I left, and you still there.
Right. Yeah.
So it's just not a good thing. I don't even like turning on the news and watching the TV. Like you say, the kids is missing. This person's died. Da da da. You're robbing old ladies. Guys stealing cars. Like, it's just no hope.
Right.
Or was a lack of men.
Mm.
Yeah, it's too much.
It is. It is. It is. And so, do you think? So, like, I be torn between, we like the pendulum is swinging, like, you know what I mean? Do we just give up? Do we keep going? Uh, I know for me, one of the biggest things is that I've been hearing a lot. People want to see a change in order for them to believe it, right? It stands true. A lot of times, it's hard to walk on faith, walk on something not seen, but yet,
Right.
when you see someone or you get a sign or something, that vision where you can feel like it's tangible and you can reach it, then you tend to be more motivated to achieve it. And so, do you think that we just need those that have I'll say a higher calling, right? Because, like you said, when you get to the neighborhood, you don't fit in. I've been through the same thing off of the road. Ended up in the projects for 2 years. I didn't even know, couldn't even tell you my neighbor's name. They seen me come, they seen me go. We lived over west. Everything we did was over east. I made sure children was in every activity. I was going to basketball games, wrestling matches, and football games.
Yeah.
Because I knew that I did not want my children to end up in that stigma of, like you say, that Margaret, what happens in those areas, the low income and the lack of, a push for education, and the lack of, making better choices or choices to get yourself into a better situation.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, to see that group, but to know that there's a group that exists that is the opposite. That there are those of us who stand out.
Yeah.
Do you think that we just need to make ourselves be seen more, or more prevalent? Because I know a lot of great people. I know a lot of motivating people. I know a lot of entrepreneurs. I know that's part of the podcast. This is episode 20, which means I have had at least 20 different guests who were talented and doing something productive and positive in one shape or form. I mean, and just contributing to not just their household, being, wherever they're being the role model, breadwinner, or model of what we need in the family, or into the community, wherever they're doing things into the community, giving service in whatever manner. I mean, 20 people, and I think about that because those 20 people are just a drop in the bucket. There's so many more who are doing, positive, productive things that I don't know. It's hard for me to think that they outweigh that. That the bad outweighs the good. I don't have that thought in mind. Am I being delusional? I mean, am I?
No.
I have to ask myself.
Mm, you're not being delusional. Now, tell me more about this article because does it touch into any crime and safety
Oh yes, when it
or
goes into
urban
if
areas?
yes, when you it actually they talk about the safety when he speaks on the physical part. So when
Mhm.
and I can go right to it because I try to take a long time on reading because I'm reading, but I'll read it since you asked. This is interesting. Let me tell you. The physical risk of the city. This is in the article. These are what the professionals are saying is going on in the city, and they're saying that we should choose to avoid this life. It says the physical risks of city living are also numerous. Pollution levels in cities, be it water, air, or noise, are shown to have significant effects on mental health. Noise pollution from traffic alone is associated with high levels of aggressions and stress.
Mm-hmm.
Light pollution is also shown to
Mm-hmm.
negatively impact city inhabitants' sleeping patterns. The physical urbanization of cities is also shown to have direct effects on mental health.
Ah.
Cities with many oppressively, can I say it right? Oppressively tall skyscrapers, unwalkable neighborhoods, and a lack of greenery are shown to increase stress levels, negatively impacting mental health. Urban areas are also more prone to traffic accidents, crime, and violence, which pose risks to physical well-being.
It makes sense to me.
Makes
High
a lot
crime
of sense
rates,
to
it
me.
makes all the sense because I'm thinking about I see something that I don't want to see. I'm irritated. I see trash all over the place. Why you ain't just throw this in the damn trash? This stressing me out. It's making me anxious. Why you just didn't put it in the damn trash? Like little stuff like that. It's just
Yeah,
it does create like it make you want to smack somebody. So now you're going to have a crime. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah, yeah. You're
You know
gonna
what
have
I'm
a
saying?
crime.
It's true.
Why you
I
think
hate
I
seeing the
always talk about
kid
this?
walk with potato chips and they just throw it. They just throw it.
Throw it.
I hate that. Like, would you
Listen,
do that in your house, on your porch, on your own block?
yeah, they would.
They would. They would. But living in like near or close to like high crime areas, it's going to create some type of mental health issues,
Yep.
and decrease the quality of your life, unfortunately. And then again, that's when the violent exposure comes into play. You know, it's just, yeah, we got to
Yeah.
do.
Yeah, we gotta be mindful. We gotta be mindful that part of it, a part of that article I want to be exposed is to let Baltimore. We know they know, but they know so much that they're willing to publish it, print it in a magazine that's built with the mindset of giving information to the wealthy.
Wow.
This is the Forbes magazine that has this article in it that's telling people
Like we're
who read it
animals in Baltimore. Like
why
it's
they should
the animal
avoid
kingdom.
living where we live. We should really take that to heart and understand what it's saying and then use that information to do better. Because when you know
Absolutely.
better, you do better. So now we have the information.
So they say. So they say. And
Yeah.
then that ties, and then the onion of it, because there's layers to this, it comes down to health as well.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
the food we're eating, and the stuff we're drinking, and the air we're
Yeah.
breathing. Like they say, the medicine that we're taking due to the healthcare people giving us all this medicine that heals and cures nothing.
Yeah, of course. I'm not even going to the pharmacy tech story no more this season. Of
Yeah.
course. Because
And
y'all,
like you say,
no, I'm gonna say it and I'm gonna say it and I leave it alone. Food and drug administration. That's all I want to know. I just want to know the same people that tell you what to eat, the same people that give you medicine when you get sick. That's the setup right there. You know, so
Nah.
I mean, but man, I was sitting on a porch with someone, and we were looking at the house, and I said, they're not going to tell me that they don't know living this close together is a setup for high anxiety. People, being this close, you don't have personal. And then you wonder why neighbors is, I can hear everything that's going on through the wall. I don't hear all that. Now I
Right.
gotta ask you, when you come on the porch, I'm looking at you like you crazy and you trying to figure out why, because you was just living your life. You were just living your life. Well, that's why suburban areas have a certain amount of feet
Space.
in between their houses, because they know for mental and physical health, well-being, that, you know, green space and space is needed, especially with families. I mean, you
You're
go
right.
see,
I ain't think about it that way. Yeah, yeah. Even in the projects, they be stacked on top of each other. The apartment buildings. Yeah, you can hear everything. You can hear. You can. Yeah, you
mhm,
ain't never lie, girl.
mhm,
Hmm.
mhm, mhm. And think about it. What they're doing is they're messing with our hygiene. This is mental hygiene. Okay, we got dental hygiene. We talk about regular hygiene. Hygiene is things that you're supposed to do every day to take care of yourself. So why aren't we being mindful about our mental hygiene? Why aren't we being, we should be making sure that, since we know they are aware, we need to let them know that we know that they are aware, and we need to be doing what we need to do to make some changes. We got these lots out here. We're talking about green spaces. Let's get out here and start teaching each other how to garden, teach each other how, what happened to the communities cleaning up together and all of that. We need to put our hands to the plow and do more.
Yeah, they
We
used to
need,
clean the steps back in the day. Come outside,
yes,
clean the steps.
yeah,
You never
yeah,
lie. And I'm still stuck on that air pollution, because now I'm thinking about just the environment, like when you can't breathe, that's messing
right.
with your cardiovascular, your respiratory system, and oh
And
God,
mind you, I have
and
insomnia. Did you hear how they even said they got that stuff that can mess with your sleep? We wonder why the city life is the nightlife. Well, they got
good point. How about it? How about it? They make it sound catchy,
right,
so
right.
cliche,
Yes,
you
that's
know.
why. Listen, you guys check it. Make sure you pull it up, check it out. Y'all know as a publisher and all. I always cite my source, and that's for the very very reason why is because I'm a firm believer in, if you, hey, go find information for yourself, seek it out and read it. You don't have to take my word for it. It's there in black and white. So yeah, they know these things are going on, and they're saying that these are social and physical risks of living in the city. So we in the city that live here, we need to understand the things around us that's causing us to make the choice that we make, and understand that they have us in a risk setting. So we are 9 times out of 10 making choices out of fear or fight or flight. We're in our systems. They mentioned depression and anxiety. One thing about anxiety is it could take you a million different ways. Anxiety can have you all over the place, have you making all kinds of decisions, screaming at people, acting crazy, and
You
the whole
gotta
time you just
apologize.
overwhelmed.
Yeah. Like you say, mental hygiene, you got to take care of that self care. You got to take care of your emotional regulation. You got to take care of your stress management. You got to take care of your social connections too.
Yeah,
That's also important. And you want to take care of your mental stimulations, because
yeah,
if you get stimuli, you got the conditional stimuli, the unconditional stimuli. Like, you got to be in control of those things too. You got to make sure you get some rest, get the sleep you need,
yeah.
and relaxing properly. And most importantly, what a lot of us don't like to do, we need to talk to someone,
You know it, and
one to love.
I advocate strongly. I tell people quick, if life is getting too much for you, call a professional. Go. I recommend therapy to anyone. We need to be stopped. I remember growing up, somebody said you was in therapy. They ready to
You
put you out.
crazy.
You No, go to therapy. You need to talk about it. That stuff that you went through as a child, that you never let go, that you couldn't get over, or no one gave you the opportunity to cope with or deal with. You need to go talk to somebody, because it's causing problems in your life right now. I'll tell you quick because I'm listening. When it gets too much for me, I'm not in therapy right now, but I'll pull up a podcast real quick. I got 20 episodes now that I can go through. I'm pretty sure there's something in there therapeutic for my day.
Yeah, you just got to find your go-to, whatever it may be. It could be talking to this goddamn Lysol, like, look, we need to talk. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going through a hard time, and I need you to listen. You know, whatever it is, you gotta have somebody to talk to.
Yes,
it can be like I have my Chinese drum here. It's like a bell, and it's like the sounds, the ohms, the ahs, like I love hearing that. It's soothing, calms you down. You know, and I try to do that in my daily routine. So for me, like when I want to practice my mental hygiene, I set boundaries. I make sure I keep my mind set on positive thinking, and staying organized. Girl, staying organized will help you stress less, less anxiety. A to-do list, girl. A to-do list is my friend.
Yes.
And I will write it down, because when I write it down, I'm writing it right here. And it locks it in.
Yeah.
And the best thing I love about a to-do list is looking at how I checked everything off. Girl, where's my book? I didn't get my book. And look, something I learned about myself. I can pick up any book in this house. This is a book that I write my piano notes in. I play the piano too, saxophone, flute, and drums. But anyway, I go to the back of this book, and if you look, it's kind of scary, but everything is checked off.
Right.
And I was just like, but why do I always go to the back of the book? Do you know why?
Why?
Do you know why I figured out why I go to the back of the book to write it? Because it's the end.
It's the end.
The damn end. It's done. It's over. It's over.
It's over.
Before I checked it at the end.
I love it. I love it.
I just came out with that.
Yes, good. I love it. You know how we do. We get together. We always got something to I like that.
And then I was just like, oh my God. I really go to
the weekend. I got that.
I love that. Go to the back. And then I get to see everything I did. Like, oh, and then I was looking at this. This is from, girl, a few months ago. I was like, oh my God, I did all of that.
Yes. Yes. The choice to do better, the choice to set goals, the choice to achieve. Baltimore, the choices we make, they definitely will have an effect on us. If not now, later, is going to have an effect. So we have to be more mindful of our choices.
Good or bad.
So much fun with you. We get ready to close out Baltimore. It's been another great show. I can't wait to play this back, because I'm telling you, I got some other little things in there. So I go back with this.
Entrepreneur.
That you are very much so.
Yes.
We get ready to close out Baltimore. Get ready to go on and give you all my mindful thought of this of the day. And so my first thought comes from Proverbs 11:14. It says, without good direction, people lose their way. The more wise counsel you follow, the better your chance. Right? Let me get that one more time. Proverbs 11:14 says, without good direction, people lose their way. The more wise counsel you follow, the better your chance. And then African proverb that is about preparation. It says, tomorrow belongs to people who prepare for it today. Tomorrow belongs to the people who prepare for it today. So Baltimore, my mindful thought this evening is fill yourself with as much knowledge, education, and experience that you need to make wise choices. That way your opportunities will be plentiful and bountiful. And you have to know that the choices you make today is going to be the ones that is going to reflect on you tomorrow. So you prepare for that by making sure you prepare good choices. You start off in the right direction. That way you can finish in the right way. So that's my mindful thought. Just want you to think about the choices you're making. Be prepared to make good choices so that you can have good effects in a good future. And yeah, that's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm hoping you guys will see in me. And that way, I can not just be talking these words, but I can be walking the walk, and you'll see that it's more than just a conversation for me. It's a lifestyle. Other than that, Baltimore, it's been great. I've been filled with so much from my good friend Fumi, and I'm going to let her give you all her mindful thought, and then we're going to close on out. Fumi?
Oh, well, my mindful thought, and we can base this on choices then, every day we're presented with countless choices that shape our lives and define our paths. And as we navigate through these decisions, I just want to say, let us be guided by our hopes, and dreams rather than our fears and doubts. And remember that each choice, no matter how big or small, holds power. It holds power, and you can create change that can propel us together to get to that goal. Um, so we just got to choose with the right intentions, the wisdom, the courage, and the embracing opportunities that's going to align us with our true selves and go to our highest aspirations. So, you know, be in the present, be in the moment. Remember, the glass is half full. My glass always half full. It is, but just remember you're a creator, and whatever you think about the most is what you're going to get.
I love it.
The
Thank
choice is
you.
yours. What do you say? We can do this the easy way or the hard way. The choice is
The
yours.
choice is yours, Baltimore. The choice is yours. We can do it the easy way or the hard way. I thank y'all for joining us. And for those of you who didn't catch it live, hey, run the playback, run it back. The choice is yours. Either way, make sure you check me out. Episode 20, we're done. Make sure y'all check out the other episodes and be on the lookout. I will be doing a live season finale. So you guys look out for what's coming up. I promise you it's going to be a great time. I love you, Baltimore. I'm going to wrap it up. This has been another episode of Be More Mindful podcast. Thank you to my guest, Fumi.
Thank you. Subscribe. YouTube. Subscribe.
Subscribe, YouTube, please do.
FUNMI
I'm your
SODIPO.
host,
Subscribe.
Aneski. Aneski literally means she belongs to me. So thank you for having me, you guys. I love y'all, and I'm out.
Thanks for having me, honey.